Hello friends, how are you today? Well, I'm so excited to be here with you today because I want to show you something interesting, something that you can do and something that I think can change your world, both just you, your personal life, and the greater world around you. I want to show you how I think the energies work and move and what's going on with the lack of energy on the Schumann chart. I'm going to show you that in a minute. And first, let's go over the chart itself and see what's happening. And I wanted to say that my human energy class is starting. If you are my workshop, if you would like to learn about the human energy field, follow the link below and let's connect. And I'd love to have you join us. Okay, so basically what we see here is this is the current chart. There's quite a bit of the horizontal lines in the very low hertz still happening. These very thin lines that are vertical. And then as we get over here to October 10th, you can see that it almost looks like there's possibly the technological effect going on behind the scenes. Especially you see it right here where you have the repeated vertical lines that are sort of evenly spaced here. They're different than these vertical lines here that we saw on the chart on the 9th, where they have multicolors and they're very, very thin. They take up only 1 pixel on the chart. And some of them go to all the way to 40 hertz. Here's the chart from Saturday. So we can see basically the same. There were some green patches that were thicker earlier at the end of the week. And I think that when the green is more prominent, humanity is showing up more. There's not really a lot on the black charts. So I think that the biggest thing that I want to do is talk about where are the waves of energy? Like, where is the activity? Why isn't it here? Why is there no activity? I alluded to this in my last couple of videos. But what I think is that humanity is like in a state of shock. Like, a lot of people are paying attention to mass media, which is scaring the heck out of people. And indeed, seeming to promote, the idea of another world war is really terrible. And so what I think is happening is that there's like a deer in the headlight effect. You know, when the deer can't move, when it sees the light at night, or when you have a shock or surprise and you go, right? And there's that moment where you're not breathing. And it's like we are en masse held in stasis in that moment right now. I don't consent or agree to that. My response has been to, I don't read articles about the news that go into war stories, energies, and predictions. But what I do is I look at it, and in a prayerful state, I'll just say, I do not consent. I talk to God about it. And as a living child of the Creator, you can too. It's our natural birthright that we can speak with God about what is going on in our world and pray and make requests. Now, when we do that, we connect with the light that we are. You see what happens when we get into this field of stasis, right? That it's like you're paused, you're frozen between the in-breath and the out-breath. And in that freezing, we can kind of pop our energy out of the connection. Now, the soul is always there, always connected with us. In my view, that's why we are alive. It's our life force. But the thing is that God has to respect our free will choice. So if we choose to be inundated and accepting of the drama of some global story, whether the facts support it or not, or major players support it or not, or whatever the details are, it doesn't matter. If you choose to be engaged by the drama of it, then the Creator gives us the means to do so. Gives us the acceptance, right? Okay, this child of mine wishes to do this and respects our choices. The alternative would be to create the world you desire and do something towards that every day. Do something towards that right now. Make it a thought. It's not hard to think a thought, and then bring it into reality as you are guided, taking steps in the world, right? So there's connecting with the divine, there's receiving, and then there's bringing that to the physical, and then taking action to manifest it in the physical world. So it requires an engagement by ourselves. So let me show you something. I had fun making this thumbnail. So I thought that I would show you in terms of light reception by the human being. We are transmitters and receivers of light. When we are in prayer, when we are meditating, when we are doing energy work or light work, we are communing with the light, right? And if you work at the level of prayer work or energy work that's fifth dimensional and higher, you are working with the expanded energy of light. And even you may be working with the Christ light, right? The light of your own soul, communing with it and directing, acting as you are guided from within. So what does it take to create the white resonance on the chart? I'm going to make you a drawing here. So if we're missing, right, the energy of the chart and we want to see it, I'm trying to make the white resonance, and you see how I can't barely make any lines here. That's kind of funny. Okay, so if I believe that I am at the effect of, some kind of energy coming from somewhere, then it's like this drawing, this photograph on the right. The light is engaged with her head and the top very, very high up in her energy field. If you could imagine a circle, a sphere around this woman being her energy field, she's just engaging from her crown chakra, right? And she's receiving from outside herself. So if we focus on the outer world as our source of supply, and we make ourselves dependent on the outer world, then when things that are shocking happen in the outer world, or when a group of people decide they want to create a narrative in the outer world and are able to gain a hold of the mechanisms to do so, we become at the whim and at the effect of things that are not reflective of the truth of who we are. And they're not reflective of our relationship with the Creator, with God. Okay. So what's the alternative? So if I want to see a wave, right, a wave of energy on the chart, I want to see the presence of the divine, right? I want to see the expanded light. And I want to see it pour forth like a waterfall. Where's my energy? Well, the fact is my energy is from within. Okay? My power is from within. It's literally corresponding to and related with, in my view, my own pure connection with the divinity that I am. And this divinity that I am is an eternal, everlasting, infinite source of supply. So when I connect with the light within myself, I ground the light within myself. I ground consciously my own soul within the human form. Then it shines forth like this from within me into the sphere of energy that, my body and my soul generate around me. And from there, I can, act in alignment with how I'm guided in prayer, in communing with the divine, right? In meditation. I can fill myself with light. I can fill my head, my arms, but I can also fill the rest of my body with light. And I do this practice and I teach it in my workshop because I feel that the soul heals the body. I know that the soul light is very healing for me. And so I feel that it elevates my physical form to connect with the light that I am. It makes me feel good. And so if I ground the light within me, the light has a landing place. You see, what if our world is not dependent on anything outside ourselves? Rather, it's dependent on you. It's dependent on me. It's dependent on my willingness to live in my body, make conscious choices, and be the light that I am. And in doing so in alignment with my communion with divinity and how I'm guided, right? So that I allow divine will. I choose to align with divine will. I choose to align with the soul that I am. I choose to bring that forward to the extent possible in my day-to-day life, to the extent that I can as a human being, because I'm a human being and I'm fallible, right? So mistakes will be made, unfortunately, much more often than I would like. But this is how the light pours forth, okay? It's not, this is the old way of thinking, okay? It's not outside us. It is within. We are the beacon. We are the transmitters. We are the receivers. So go forth, my friends, and receive from the light that you are, from your own source, which will infinitely supply you. And the outcomes, when we make these choices and we choose to be the light we are, to embody the light and to act in alignment with that light, amazing things happen. I wanted to share an example of the enduring effects of behaving and living in this manner and the goodness that it brings to ourselves, to others around us, and to even that pours out into our world. It's interesting. I've talked about it before. My girlfriend, Andrea, has spent quite a lot of time teaching me about astrology. And it's really a gift I can't repay. It's just pure love. And I'm really, really grateful about receiving that gift of learning, about this area. Something that I never thought to learn about before. And when she was first teaching me, I thought, well, this is my friend and she really cares about it, so I'll learn for her. There's doing things outside yourself, right? But I don't think that she thought that. And I think that that's what was happening. I think that she somehow knew that I would connect with it and I would maybe even be good at it. So what I've been doing recently is I've been studying and reading, and one of the books that I'm looking at is a book from the Middle Ages written on astrology, and it's a famous book by a man named William Lilly, and it's called Christian Astrology. It was printed in 1647. And it's just absolutely amazing. And people who I'm looking at who practice today and are highly regarded, refer to this book and have spent, significant time, I'm guessing, studying it. Well, it really struck me when I started reading it, and I haven't gotten very far into it because it's all in medieval English. But luckily it's typewritten and not handwritten. But the first thing that he does in this book is he writes a letter to his students. And what struck me, I chose to read the letter because it was a personal message. Really, it was a personal message to me, right? I am one of the students. As amazing as that is, someone who's a teacher from 1647 could be talking to me, 375 years later as I read his book. It's just phenomenal. Anyway, but I'm going to read you something from his book and his letter to the students. He says, "The more thy knowledge is enlarged, the more do thou magnify the power and wisdom of Almighty God, and strive to preserve thyself in his favor, being confident the more holy thou art and more near to God, the purer judgment thou shalt give." And I read that and I just was like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I was in such awe because that sentence literally summarizes, what I teach in my videos and what I teach in my workshop. It's literally staring at me from 1647. Now, of course, all of this is in the Bible as well, which is even older, obviously. But I just was amazed. He's basically saying, the closer that you are in your relationship with God, the better performance, the better assessment, the better judgment that you will give in your art, right? In your craft, in your analysis, in your counseling to others. And why is that? It's because communing with the light that you are brings forth something that is of a purity, of an essence, of a nature that is more than what you are as a living human being. It elevates what you do, how you speak. It elevates your actions into something that can be so much greater. And I thought, wow. And the entire letter, and it's really a dense letter. It's like a page and a half almost, but very, very wordy, right? So, and it's understandable. But the entire letter talks about how to have a relationship with God, how to act, how to be grateful for your relationship with God, how to be grateful for the blessings that God has given you. And I sat there and I thought, oh my goodness, this is why his work has endured. Because he connected, he created that connection, and he brought through his work as close in alignment with God's light through him, with divine will through him as he could. And that created something enduring, something that almost 400 years later, people are avidly reading who care about that field. And this is what I'm saying. There's no difference between the statements that I just made, in my view, and talking about the pouring forth of the white resonance, right, which we all miss on the field of the Schumann, on the chart, the field of the Schumann resonance, the field that surrounds the planet in which we all swim, the air, the non-physical, all around us. So what I want to say is, you're halfway, I feel like we're halfway held in a breath, right? Move into that pause and bring the light with you. Bring the light from literally your soul. Take a moment and just touch base within your body. And even if you can't feel the quality, feel the character and the nature of the connection with God, know it's there with your own soul, right? The light of the Creator that you are, God the Most High, the Creator of the universe. And allow that light to pause and flow through into the rest of your form, into the rest of your body. And then breathe. And keep breathing. And let the light flow, and let the love flow, and let the light pour out through you into your field, and let it fill your body, and let it fill the field that you are. And then there's nothing else that you need to do in the world, because energy in motion is always in motion. It will flow from you. I find it's best to just focus on my light in my field, and I give it to God. I trust the divine to work as it emanates from me, to work in the world, because we are the ground for the energy. We are the lightning rods for the light of Christ in the world.